Welcome back to Hanksy Panksy, a podcast where two dumb idiot best friends fill themselves mind, body, and soul with the stationary view of a digitally de-aged Tom Hanks. I'm Sam Siegel, and I'm one of those dumb idiots.
Yeah, I'm Luke Patrick. I'm the other dumb idiot. This week, I am the inventor of the Relaxy Boy.
And how relaxed do you feel?
Not very.
Yeah,
After this one, after
yeah.
this movie,
After this flick, which of course, Luke, eagle-eared listeners,
yeah,
rabbit-eared listeners,
yeah, there we go.
may have heard that the intro to this was different. That's because we're rolling it all the way back, baby,
We're going all the way back.
to our first child. Some would even say our favorite child,
Yeah.
Tom Hanks, because he has a new movie out, and it is, of course, 2024's Here. Now, before we dig into it, I realize this is going out the day after the election here in the US. And so I want to take a quick opportunity to say that in case you haven't checked the news, the winner of the 2024 presidential election is. Okay, so then I'm just going to say, uh,
Okay.
so I'm just going to go Kamala Harris. Let me get a clean Kamala Harris, and then I'll do Donald Trump, and then you'll
I'll
just
just
cut
fix
it
it.
in. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll just
yeah,
do it in post.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll
We'll
do
do
it
it
in
in
post.
post. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, did you want to get a reaction in there that you can
Yeah.
also put in
Yeah,
post?
yeah, yeah. So, my reaction to the first to Kamala winning would just be, fuck yes, let's go.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I think that's a good clean take.
That's a clean one. And then the reaction to DJT getting it
Hmm.
would be my absence because I will be out back digging my own grave.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Um, maybe we can get like some babies crying in the background.
Ooh, now we're talking. Now
It's gonna
we're
be
having a conversation.
it's gonna be really interesting because I'll have to figure out how to get these in post in video form.
Ooh, yeah, you're gonna have to bust out some like Adobe Premiere, I think is
Oh
the
yeah.
piece of software that you're gonna be needing to do. Maybe some iMovie. You could
Hmm.
borrow my Mac and do some iMovie.
Wait, I think we need one more. I think we need
Okay.
one more clean. Robert F. Kennedy Jr.?
Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
There we go.
What? Okay, hang on. Let me give you a
Okay,
clean
yeah, yeah, yeah.
reaction, which is the guy with the brain worm
There we go. Perfect, perfect.
who left a dead bear in Central Park
Cut off a dead whale's head?
and then also left it in Central Park.
What is with this guy and dead animals? No, no, Luke,
Yeah.
that's not what we're here for. We're
Thank
here.
God.
We're here in 2024's here.
Yeah, we are present in 2024 is here.
So we went to the movie theater to watch this together.
At 2:45 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
in the
And
old afternoon on a Friday.
and if you are my boss or one of my coworkers, first of all, why are you listening to this?
Yeah.
Don't. Don't do that.
Go
Please
away.
don't.
Yeah.
Go away. Now that you're gone, I was working while we went to see this movie. I did not take the day off.
Yeah.
I just went to the movies at 2:45 during a workday.
You know who else went to the movies at 2:45 on a Friday to see a brand new Tom Hanks movie?
Robert F. K. Jr.
I doubt it. He's probably pretty busy killing whales and bears right now.
dealing with that dead brainworm.
Dealing with the dead brainworm. No, it was us and I'm gonna
Bunch of
say about 15 retirees.
I think that man, I gotta tell you, I think it was like 8.
You think so?
It didn't seem crowded at all.
There were quite a few people behind us that had
Were there?
preloaded. Yeah,
Oh,
because
okay.
these are older folks. So, it's like getting to the airport four,
Yes.
5, 6, 24 hours early.
What time do you think they got there?
I think they got there at 2, my guy.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, like as they were like sweeping and cleaning from the previous showing, they were
Mhm.
like, "Oh, sorry, excuse me, my seat's here." And they're like, "The movie's over." And they're like, "Oh no, the next one.
Yeah, I'm here for the
I got the next
2:45.
one." Yeah.
And then they asked them if they could park their car. And they're like, that's not how this works.
Yeah. So it was us, and we definitely, like, no joke, brought down the average age of
By
the
a
attendee
considerable margin.
by kind of a lot.
And we're not young people.
We are not, no. But we
Um,
did bring it down to, let's say, probably 40 something.
Definitely. Hey, Bernie, do you wanna not do this right now?
She's
Okay.
screaming. I can't hear through the Zoom.
Yeah, she is. She is really, really making some noise.
I see.
Um, how was your watch? I'm curious.
Oh, okay, so Sam, as we walked into the movie theater, I said, it's been a minute. It's been like a month and a half since I went to go
Mm-hmm.
see a movie. I'm excited. I love movie theater popcorn. I love hanging out in movie theaters. I love seeing movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I was pretty pumped to go see our boy Tom. Not entirely pumped because
Right.
I knew some details about this movie and I wasn't incredibly excited. Yeah, there's the cat.
Yeah.
You
It's
have
the only
acquired the
way to
cat.
shut her up.
Yeah, you got her now. Give her some thumps for me. Some good
Oh,
belly
that's
thumps.
getting picked up by the mic too. That's
Oh,
fun. This is terrible audio. This is after dark, by the way. Probably should have said this is a nocturnal emission.
this is a nocturnal emission. So let me just paint for you a picture of how my afternoon has gone, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Walking in the movie theater, somewhat excited. Movie starts. We get to see our friend Maria Menounos,
Not
who
friend,
is
but
who
okay.
is wearing a top that looked like a shag carpet.
It was. I'm fairly certain it was a repurposed shag carpet. Which, thinking about it now, good on you
Yeah,
for
good on
for
you.
upcycling an old shag carpet.
Yeah. Um, anyway, started out pretty excited. Maria Menounos popped up. Woo, previews, meh, movie. I leave the movie theater. I am angry.
Hmm.
I'm an angry human being.
Yeah.
I go home. I wait for Jackie to get home from work. I am even more angry
Hmm.
because I'm describing and talking about the movie and my watch experience. This is the all day experience.
Uh-huh.
Then we get to about 10 minutes before we jump on this call. I'm tired. I'm just
Oh
tired
no.
now.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
I'll get back to angry. We'll get back
Yeah.
to some of that
Oh,
energy.
I feel fairly confident.
Yeah, that was my experience of seeing this movie. What was your sort of extended play
Hmm.
experience?
Well, I can put it actually somewhat succinctly, like this. Luke, today I accidentally got icy hot on my balls, and that wasn't the worst part of my day.
How?
Okay, so my knee has been kind of fucked up
Ah, there it is.
lately. So I put a bunch of icy hot on my knee, and then I pulled my pants on. And I didn't really think about this until like a few minutes later, my balls are tingling.
You didn't think about it until it was too late.
And then I was like, oh no, the icy hot went from my knee to my balls. And so a good chunk of this morning was, I would say, fairly touch and go as I had kind of alarming sensations.
Yeah.
And knowing that it was only going to get worse because, like, basically, I would feel a temperature change in my knee and know that this was going to happen further up and
Yeah.
soon.
You had a weather forecast for your ball sack.
I did. And I didn't like what I was hearing. Um,
Oh my.
so yeah. Counter to you, I haven't gone to the movies since before my son was born. Um,
Which is, I mean, it makes sense. That makes a
yeah.
lot of sense.
So easily like I would say about a year.
Yeah.
It's
Damn.
been. And I think I've talked about this before. I think I hate going to the movie theater.
Yeah, you've this has been a journey for you.
Hmm.
You were approaching that territory, so now you're telling me you have officially landed in that zone.
Yes. And so because yeah, I think my my priority now that I have a child is to maximize the efficiency of any me time that I have.
Yeah.
And a visit from my arch nemesis, Maria Menounos,
Hmm.
and the 30 minutes of commercials and previews for movies I don't care about, that is wasting my time.
Yeah, and you also can't be on your phone.
I can't be on my phone, which I need. I hate my phone, to be clear. I despise the screen that makes me sad, but I also require it. So,
Yeah. Yeah, which is because I'm not a big phone guy, if I'm honest
mhm,
with you. I don't use my phone a ton. Um, that doesn't make me better than anybody. That just means I lose it. It's
mm,
in my house somewhere. And then I miss out on birthdays and births and other
mm,
important announcements because my phone is nowhere to be found and I don't know, jorking it or something, right?
yeah,
Like who knows? Um, but there is a thing where like if I'm forced to do an activity, like sometimes you gotta have a disrespectful watch when we're doing this project.
yes.
And it
And I
yeah,
resent the theater for taking that off the table.
exactly my guy. That's what I'm saying. So like I even as a not big phone person,
Hmm.
I need that second screen entertainment, I think, for some of these here watches.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I would have killed for some Reddit posts
Yeah.
during 2024's here.
I
We
found a new
have
one, by the way.
uh-huh.
We were talking about vanity plates on the way home. I forgot to mention this. There's one called
Hmm.
r/license plates
Ooh,
that
okay.
has the most inscrutable vanity plates, and it is hilarious to see people
Oh,
try to make sense of them.
I have got to check that out.
R/license plates, they got you covered.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't enjoy going to the movie theater. I can't pause it. I can't, like run and grab something.
Yeah,
Um, I can't look at my phone. It's just it, it's a waste of my time,
yeah,
basically. Um, which is weird because I used to love going to the movie theater.
yeah. We went all the time.
Yeah, back in college and like when I was living um after grad school up here in Little Rock, I went fairly frequently. I
Yeah,
remember I went to see John Wick 3 by myself.
honestly, not a bad way to do it.
It was pretty good. It was like first showing of the day, because
Yeah.
I was unemployed at the time. And so
Hmm.
just went and I was like, I probably look sketchy as hell because I'm just a single white dude going to a movie theater, but whatever.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I hate the theater. The watch was again worse than getting icy hot on my ball sack.
Yeah,
Sorry for anyone who had to hear me say that and didn't want to, but
it's medical.
that's what happened.
It's an
My
experience, man.
my knee hurts and has
Yeah.
hurt for like weeks. I'm dying, is what I'm trying to say.
You
Um,
know what you should have done in
mm,
this movie theater full of geriatrics?
yeah.
Stood up and gone, does anybody's knee just hurt? You would have gotten a round of applause from that audience.
Anybody here have joints that hurt?
Does anybody's joints really hurt right now?
Whole theater
Uh,
would be, it would just be, everyone but you would be like, yeah,
mhm.
hell yeah, I heard
I
all the
would clap
time.
if my joints didn't hurt so much.
Exactly. You'd hear a bunch of hands go up and it sound like you were making popcorn in their shoulders, like it
Yes.
does in mine.
Ooh, buddy.
Luke, what's the plot of here?
Okay, I actually have to go into this one because I'm going to talk at length about a lot of this movie,
Yeah.
and sadly the plot is relevant. I think I can do it pretty quickly though. So here goes.
Okay.
Imagine the dinosaurs.
Hmm. I actually, I hate to do this to you.
Yeah.
I think we have to first name the central conceit of this movie?
Oh yeah, I was getting there. I just like
Okay,
the
okay,
dinosaur.
I'm sorry.
I just like that this movie literally starts with the fucking dinosaurs,
Does start with
which
the dinosaurs.
really quick, it looks to be the Carboniferous, and we've got pterodactyls, which are not
Mm-hmm.
dinosaurs, they're
Mm-hmm.
reptiles. And we've got a T-Rex, which is like not the right time period. And
Mm-hmm.
I think this movie takes place in PA or thereabouts.
Yeah, I would say like New England-ish.
New England-ish, Northeast. And this would have all been ocean. We see a meteor strike and a volcano erupt. That's all bullshit. The meteor was in Mexico. Okay, that's my paleontology thing.
Okay.
We're out. We're out. We're done. Anyway, the central conceit of this movie is this. There's a house here where we have a framed shot of what looks to be like a living room,
Yeah.
basically. Living room
A,
area,
a
nice
living room with a bay window.
with a bay window, yeah, and a fireplace. And we see several storylines
Mm-hmm.
of various people that have lived in the house throughout the ages since it was constructed in 1900. The primary family that we're following um, is a greatest generation family. So, like a guy and his wife
Mm-hmm.
who buy the house for $3,400.
$3,400, and it is a two-level home
Two-level home, really nice neighborhood, great
with
area.
enough space in it for two parents,
Mm-hmm.
three children,
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately, uh, let's see, two parents, two children, a third child who has a spouse and a child.
Yep.
So, like more people than you can put in an elevator.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Throw in a stroller, way too many people.
Hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, they buy the house. We see some other ancillary people of like the people that lived there before they bought it in the 40s. Let's say like
Hmm.
45, 46, somewhere in there. Late
Yeah.
40s. Seems like they buy the house, but we see some people that like bought it when it was new. Some people that lived there in the 30s up to the moment they sold it, and these people bought it. And then we see another modern family that
Hmm.
buys the house around 2020, somewhere in that zone,
And
before the pandemic. But
yeah, and then we also see um before the house is even built, when
yeah, that's
it's
true. The
uh
colonial era.
Ben Franklin's bastard son,
Yeah, William
uh
Franklin.
who lives across the street, what will become the street,
Right. Yeah.
and then two Native Americans.
Yeah. Which happy Native American Heritage Month, everybody.
Clap,
We
clap, clap,
have
clap, clap, clap,
we,
clap.
we have a shoehorned in kind of offensive indigenous plot. But anyway,
Yeah.
the main conceit though is that we see this family starting with the greatest generation. They have a son. They have two kids, two sons and a daughter.
Hmm.
Um, and the eldest son is Tom Hanks. He grows up to be Tom Hanks. He's a
Hmm.
de-aged Tom Hanks, which we're going to
Yes.
talk about. He's Chat GPT's Tom Hanks because they
Yes.
used AI to de-age him, and he gets a girlfriend, Robin Wright. Um, and they have, like you said, a romance. They conceive a child. They get married. They move in with his parents. Paul Bettany is the dad. Um, and we see them progress through life with some intercut shots of these other groups of people that have lived in this house. So
Hmm.
it's all here. It's all from a single frame. The camera does not move
At all.
until the very end of the movie, where we pan around and we finally see the rest of the house, and then we get a crane shot of them going away from the house, and we see the broader neighborhood. And
In
then
the
the movie
outside of the
ends.
house.
So here's the big highlights of what happens to them, and then we can talk about this movie.
Okay.
So Paul Bettany's a drunk.
Hmm.
He's abusive and he's a drunk. Probably because he's riddled with PTSD
Yes.
from having served in World War II. Anyway, he is not a great father. Tom Hanks seems to have an okay relationship with him, but it's pretty rocky. They
Yeah.
move in together, they have this kid. They Tom Hanks gives up on his idea of becoming a painter and a graphic artist. We're going to talk about that.
Hmm.
To work as a salesman like his dad. They sacrifice, quote unquote, a lot for their kids. And then eventually they become estranged. They get divorced,
Hmm.
Robin Wright and Tom Hanks. And then they end up, she loses her memory because she gets Alzheimer's, or
Hmm.
dementia, something in that zone. And then he sells the house, and then that's the end of the movie. And their kid, the only highlight really is that their kid grows up to be like a super high powered attorney, which I don't know any happy attorneys. I know a few happy attorneys, and I know a lot of
And
attorneys.
apparently a like super high powered attorney who also has time to like vacation to Paris like a lot.
Like a lot. Yeah.
Um,
And is a senior partner. That's the
yeah.
other weird thing. They were like, she's made senior partner at age like 30 or something
The
crazy.
I don't know that they said the age. She was
They
just the
didn't.
youngest person to ever make senior partner.
Yeah, just mathing that one out though, I'd guesstimate that she's like late 30s, maybe at the most.
I don't know.
Anyway, not important. It's Sam, what's your review of this movie?
Oh, so since we're not in season three for this, it's fucking awful.
This movie
It's
is boomer bait bullshit.
yes, it is. It is booner bait gooner baiting.
It's propaganda. This is what made me so mad.
It
The
is
more I started to
propaganda.
dissect it, this is boomer propaganda.
Yes, it's just oh God, it's awful. But I I I forgot. I wrote down a question that I needed to ask you.
Okay.
That I want to get into before we necessarily talk about the movie too much more. And that Luke, did you miss Tom?
Okay. Here's the problem with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I miss a very specific flavor of Tom, which
Mm-hmm.
is like curly fro Tom from the 80s, like really curly, poofy
Mm-hmm.
hair, goofy, doing lots of quirky 80s movies like The Money Pit, The Bachelor Party.
Okay.
Because we were way too hard on those
We
movies.
were. I think if we were to go back, we would have a very good time.
If we'd been handed a bachelor party post Keanu,
Oh, oh
oh,
God, yeah.
to dream of a bachelor party, a movie where a mule literally does coke and we didn't know how good we had it,
I
man.
know. Do you know how broken we are as people that we wish we could watch Bachelor Party?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. But I miss that. I really miss that
Mm-hmm.
flavor of Tom. And we get de-aged Tom. So for huge chunks of this movie, we're in that zone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yes, but this movie didn't fix the itch because it's fake Tom for like 90% of it.
Yeah. It's a lot of fake Tom.
A lot of fake Tom. Where are you landing missing Tom?
In a sense, I had forgotten about Tom.
Yeah.
Tom had left me, was no longer close to my heart.
Yeah.
And I'll say, if I have to pick a favorite Tom, like a Tom that I think of most fondly,
Yeah.
it's actually more like your middle age Tom, like an Apollo 13.
Ooh, that's a great era of Tom. A
Because
catch me
he's
if you can kind of era.
yes, that span where like he's more serious, but he's also like, like there's some funny stuff in Apollo 13, even though they're about to die in space.
Yeah.
Um, and same with Catch Me If You Can, Tom, where like it's a more serious thing, but there is some humor there.
Yeah.
So, I miss that Tom,
Yeah.
and we don't even get a digitally de-aged version of that Tom.
We skip right over that
We
because
skip over.
we go from their kid being like, I don't know, 6 maybe,
I, uh, yeah, probably.
to like late teens in a
Yes.
jump. Literally, it's a jump shot where it's like, well, not the same, the shot stays the same, but she's
Yeah.
like in the living room. Suddenly she's a teen doing like 80s, early 80s style jazz aerobics
Yes.
kind of stuff. Yeah. So we
Yeah.
totally skipped that version of Tom.
And okay, so this is going to be a fun sort of subplot of this episode, which is that I took notes in the theater.
I watched you do this.
A lot of people might not know this, I guess. Movie theaters are very dark. So it's not a great
They
place to
were
take notes.
they were except for the woman, the boomer lady behind us, who had her cell phone light
She
on
did.
for kind of a long time.
So I'm having to sort of decode my notes here because
Also, yeah, go
yes.
ahead. Oh, I was just gonna say that this is the same lady too who, as the movie was starting,
Mm-hmm.
wandered in. I don't know if you heard her, but she was pretty loud. Loudly asked the people in that row, "Is this row G?"
Oh yeah, I did hear that.
And they were like, "Yeah." And she
Yeah,
goes, "Oh, okay, I wasn't sure."
it's literally on the carpet.
It's on
The
the
only
floor, dude.
illuminated part of this room, it's on the fucking carpet.
Is this row G?
Um, but I think so. I will say, watching this movie started to make me angry with Tom.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had the same experience, but I just feel like the past couple times we've seen Tom, he's hurt us.
Where are you falling on in Man Some Heter Over these days on A Man Called Otto?
Still love it.
Yeah, I still really like that one.
Yeah, no, I still think it's one of his best performances.
I would agree. So he didn't hurt us with that one.
No, but the past two, mm-mm,
Yeah,
mm-mm.
I don't know.
Hurt, hurt
Asteroid
deep.
City was deep hurt. That was a knife wound. It went pretty deep, and then this one like salted it in a big way.
Yeah, yeah. Again, it made you angry for the rest of your day, and it made icy hot on my nuts less bad than it should have been.
I think the person I'm most angry at though is Robert Zemeckis.
Oh, I've got words for Bob Zemeckis.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I just wanted to know if you had missed Tom. Um,
It's a good question. Yeah, I would say yes. Yeah, pretty authoritatively. Yeah, I did miss him. This did not help.
no, absolutely not. So yeah, no, it is boomer bait.
It's boomer bait. It's boomer propaganda.
Hmm. And it's a slog
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there are a couple things that I came away from this movie with, right? The first is that there's that old like screenwriting thing of just like you write about the most interesting day in your character's life.
Yeah, and you
And then
start in the middle. You start in the middle of that day where the action is.
yes, this what this movie does is it starts with the explosion that ends the dinosaurs. Pretty fucking cool. Um,
Yeah.
and then goes on to show us the most mundane bullshit. At like one other thing happens in this movie that's interesting.
Okay.
And I will get back to that.
Okay,
But
cool.
everything else sucks.
Yeah,
It's
everything else sucks.
boring. It's just like the minutia of your daily life, which is my other point, which is, hey, you know how my life, just my day-to-day life, is super fucking interesting and deserving of a movie because
Yeah.
mostly what I do is sit on the couch and feed my son.
Hmm.
Yeah, you shouldn't make a movie of that.
No, and also if you're making a movie that's like about the boomer perspective on what it means to have a life that you live with no regrets, which
Hmm.
all of that I want to get into. Uh, why is it such a fucking bummer?
Such a bummer.
Every attitude, every aspect and attitude that you see at the end of this movie is like they get divorced. She's got Alzheimer's. Their kid is nowhere to be seen. He's like selling the house, and
Yeah,
his dad had a fucked up relationship with his wife until she had a stroke. Like every part of this
it's
is like,
so fucking grim, except for two subplots.
yeah,
And one I don't even think counts as being not grim. It's just neutral because Bob Zemeckis needed black people.
yeah. The family that moves into the house around 2020 is black,
Hmm.
which I don't know what, because I loved that they had a more diverse family living in the house. That's
Yes,
great. Everything else is
absolutely.
white. Everybody else in this movie that has inhabited the house is white. But he shoehorned in this weird, like he made a point to call it out because they're giving their son to like talk about the cops and like what to do
Yeah,
because he's
like
learning to drive, their
how
son.
to stay safe when you've been pulled over and you're black.
Right. Exactly. And it's like totally incongruous with the rest of the movie.
Hmm.
So what point I can't figure out what point Robert Zemeckis was trying to make with any of the families,
Hmm.
but I especially cannot figure out what the modern family was meant to be saying because we see them like going through the pandemic,
Hmm.
and like
Their
dealing
housekeeper dies.
their housekeeper dies randomly.
Hmm. I
And
assume from COVID,
oh, that's a good point, I
because
guess.
there's
Because she
that
gets
scene.
COVID.
Yeah, which it took me a minute to figure out what the fuck they were trying to do because she's like spraying Lysol or
Yeah.
whatever. And then she sniffs, and again, it just, I don't know. I mean, my brain is kind of pudding now, so maybe I'm just too stupid, but it was maybe a little too subtle because she's just like sniffing around, and
Yeah.
I guess I thought that she was gonna find like drugs or something. Like
Yeah.
it seemed, or that like the house was gonna be on fire, but
Yeah.
that would have been too hopeful for me.
Yeah.
She just finds that she can't smell anymore, and I was like, oh, she has COVID. And then like 30 minutes later, they're in a scene with that family again, and the wife comes in and she's like, Raquel died. And it
Yeah.
took me a few minutes to remember that Raquel was the housekeeper. And then I was like, oh, I guess she died from COVID.
Yeah. Which was kind of a callback to another group of people that inhabited the house.
Yes.
You good? You good, bro?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay. Sam
I
just sort of looked off in a very like dramatic kind of way.
Oh
So
no, I Kenna was hanging out outside the door and I
I
didn't
see.
know if she was gonna say something or not. She did not.
Gotcha. Okay. But it's kind of a callback to another group of inhabitants where there's like an early aviator guy,
Hmm.
the people that first owned the house, and he dies of influenza.
Yes.
But there's no point.
No, there's not a point.
It's just life, right? Like this
Hmm.
big shrug of like, it's life, it's a living.
Hmm.
Um,
And then the other subplot where there's a good ending
oh
is
yeah.
the best part of the movie,
It's
and I
yeah.
do not understand why the movie is not about this couple.
It's okay, so this couple is it's giving Nick and Nora. It's giving like fun flapper girl and
Yes.
like sort of more overweight with a mustache kind of fun jovial dude who invents shit.
Yes, it's this like really like eclectic kind of bohemian sort of people, but in like
Yeah.
1920, 1930.
Yeah.
And they're just fun. Like the first time we see either of these two, the woman is in first of all, like the way they have their living room decorated, because that's all we really have to go by,
Yeah.
folks. It's just real busy,
Oh,
right?
it's
There's just lots
amazing.
of stuff, and it's
Yeah.
cool, and like there's lots of stained glass, and it's just there's a lot happening. And the first time we see her, she is vacuuming in like a robe, a bra, and like sweatpants,
Yeah.
basically, and just dancing her fucking heart out.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then her like partner, husband, whatever he is,
Hmm.
comes in at another point she's dancing again and he comes in with like a rose in his mouth
Yes.
and they like do a little dance all over the living
Yes.
room and like
And he's
yeah.
inventing the first lazy boy. And so like you actually get a plot with them
Yeah.
and they fuck.
Well, yeah, there's that. And then also my favorite part was that like they're having fun
They're
because like
having fun.
presumably they've been together a long time by the point he actually creates the first Lazy Boy prototype.
Hmm.
What did they do with it? Well, he makes her do nude photos on it, and they're having
Yes,
a fucking blast.
they take so many horny photos of
Hmm.
her all over this like prototype lazy
Lazy
boy.
Boy.
And it's just like they're like it's not it like it almost barely reads as horny. Like because it's
Yeah,
just like this is what they do for fun.
this is fun for them. They're having a ball.
Like I like to think he invents lots of stuff and she takes nude photos with all of
Hmm.
it. Like here's an egg beater and her tits for some reason. I don't know. Um
I just love that, like, and then the end of their plot line is that they sell the Lazy Boy for buku bucks. He has a little
mhm.
song about it, and then they move to California.
Yeah, they're in love with each other.
Hmm.
They're just fun people and they hump and they move to California and have a great time. Like
Yeah,
it's it actually has like progression to it.
yeah,
It's not overwrought. It's it's also like they don't none of their scenes run too long.
no,
It is
they're
the
really
only
short.
it is the only part of the movie that I think like I wanted more.
Yeah,
And I don't think you can say that about any of the other groups.
nope.
You can't say that about Ben Franklin's bastard son, because I don't care. You
Yeah,
can't, like, I think The Aviator, they did okay with
it
that
just
one.
never went anywhere.
It never
What was
really
the
went.
point? He's like, I have a plane, and she's like, don't get in the death trap. And then his daughter plays the violin, and then he dies of the flu. And you're like,
So that scene, that whole plot line solely exists for the rug pull of like, he dies, and she's like, why'd you have to do it? And then you find out he died not in a plane crash, but from the 1918
yeah,
flu pandemic.
yeah,
That's it. That's the whole purpose of that one.
I know.
And
It's
then you
fucked
have
up.
the fun sex couple,
Hmm.
and then you have Paul Bettany,
Hmm.
who sucks.
Who
Um,
sucks?
Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, who, and we'll dig into this, suck.
Suck.
And then the family after them, who they're fine. Like I found them generally likable, but we get three scenes with them.
There's no time with them. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not really a plot to. Actually, now
There's
that I think of it, there's no plot
there's no
except
plot.
COVID happened.
COVID happened. They have a son. He has a birthday. They move.
Yes,
That's it. I mean, that's the whole point of the modern family.
yeah.
Um,
So, oh, and then there's the indigenous plot that's just like,
I hate that part, man. Not I'm okay. Two things about that. I
mhm,
love that they got indigenous actors to do it.
yes,
That part is great because that would
hmm
have been in 2024 during Native
would have been
American Heritage Month
bad.
would have been a really bad look.
Yeah,
But like it's just classic Hollywood. It's this like weird amalgam of I don't know, maybe they with the I think surely they had someone consulting on the language aspect.
yeah.
I hope
I
to
hope.
God. Forgot to look that up before we jumped on this call, but like they do have them speaking quite a bit, and I hope to God it is a like appropriate language and the
Hmm.
appropriate culture. It just feels very like Hollywood interpretation.
Yes.
So I don't know. Maybe they did a lot more consulting than I'm giving them credit for, but I kind of don't think so. And why is it here? I mean,
Yeah,
why is
why?
any of this here?
Well, that was going to be my question for you is like, what is the point of any of this except the fun sex couple, the fun chair couple?
The
I
chair couple.
love them. I want more of them. The movie should have been about them,
It should have
and
been
it
about
also
that.
should
Yeah.
have been a short film.
Yeah.
But
It would have been a
outside of
very
that,
short film. Just the guy who's like, I want the comfiest chair I could possibly get. And his wife's like, darling, yes, that sounds great. Yes.
do you
And
want
then
to take
he's
nudie photos of me while I sit on it?
and he's like, boy, howdy, yes. And then he cranks the seat back and they're like, we did it. We're moving to California.
Hmm. Um,
Yeah. You
but
were saying?
yeah, it's just like let me do some decoding here.
Yeah.
Who is this for and why? Like, I know it's for boomers, it is
Yeah.
boomer propaganda, but like, why?
Okay, I have a theory about this,
Hmm.
but it needs a preface, which is how earnest do we want to get on this episode?
I think, okay, let me say this. we have not actually truly engaged with one of these with a movie in a minute. So I
Yeah.
think we can actually get fairly earnest.
Again, or how much veracity do we want in these answers? Because
Because
this movie unearthed a lot of shit in me, a lot of
mhm,
generational analysis that I and rage that I didn't know I had.
it's also like I think it is a bizarre enough movie that getting a little earnest with it is helpful.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Okay, so here's this. I
Okay.
will offer this up and then we can talk about it. Which is that to take a left into Ernestville really quick. I had a
Mhm.
conversation not that long ago with a boomer who will go unnamed because I don't want her like receiving a bunch of hate and
Okay.
you know I don't want that person identified in my life. But a boomer who
Mhm.
pointed out that this is what happened to boomers. Boomers were raised by the greatest generation, which is a group of people who endured plagues, two world wars, multiple market crashes, in the Dust Bowl.
Mhm.
So they told their kids, life is cruel. You will have to scrape by, and you need to be hard as nails. You
Mhm.
must endure. And this is what the boomers grew up with. Then they entered a world that had none of those things. It had all
Yeah.
of the structure that their parents created for them to make them a better world, but they
Mhm.
had this mentality of like everything's hard, we must persevere and endure. These people worked at the same companies for, and I'm speaking in generalities, but for like 40 years, got a pension,
Yeah.
retired. Out
And
of high school or out of
like during like
college.
a booming economy.
A booming economy. So they have this attitude, a lot of boomers have this attitude of like, we persevered. And it's like, then look at millennials. We get derided so much, but we're
Mhm.
actually dealing with shit. Like this world created by the generations that came before us, where like, literally look at this house. They bought it for $3,400. At the end of this movie, the realtor says, yeah, anything under a million or anything at the $1 million mark is a steal in this market. You hit it, Zemeckis.
Yeah. Um
Therein
yeah.
lies the problem.
And and again like there's weirdly a note at one point about the interest rate being 9%, which like
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that sucks, but also it's 9% on like a fraction of a
Yeah.
loan.
An $80,000 loan or
Yeah.
something. And like they talk about like it's just this so the whole thing hits a head for me, comes to a head for me. What is Tom Hanks giving up? Because this is where the boomer logic fails for me. He says someone says like why'd you stop painting? And he's like, you know why? Because I had to make money.
Hmm.
Dude, you can paint. Why'd you stop painting? The answer is not you had a kid and had to go work. You can still fucking paint.
Yeah. Their weekends exist,
Weekends
Tom.
exist, evenings exist.
Yeah.
Like, and is it this idea that you had to make money from it? Because why did you deprive yourself of joy unnecessarily and then
Yes.
take it out on other people?
Hmm.
Which is the whole failure of the logic there that really turns out makes me very angry. So,
Man, I did not engage with the movie on that. Like, I think I was so caught up in just how like grim everything is and
yeah,
how it is shot in the most dry fucking way possible
yeah,
that I just refused to continue thinking about it
for sure.
when I got home. Uh, because we had chili dogs tonight, my guy,
Oh,
and
now we're
I
talking.
was all on board with Chili Dog Town.
Chili
So
dogs with your homemade chili,
with
right?
my homemade chili, made chili last night,
That's what we're
had
talking
chili
about.
last night, and then chili dogs tonight. So your
This is
boy
ex
is happy.
this is exactly my point though. Like we are actually dealing with a plague,
Hmm.
2008, the
Hmm.
towers falling like
Yeah, the towers that fell 23 years ago.
23 years ago. Like the number of things we have endured, we
Uh,
still
a
find time
a forever war.
a forever war. for sure.
Ooh, I don't know, the invention of rectangles that make us sad, but
Yeah,
we need them.
we need them. A housing crisis that's not reaching any kind of
A
terminus anytime
housing
soon.
crisis, the
And
rise of fascism in our own fucking country,
the rise of fascism, and the big one, climate change. That's
climate
probably
change.
actually going to kill us.
Yeah, an economy that is rigged to specifically not work for us, a
Yeah.
government that is held hostage by one party that again is sliding into fascism and at its core does not believe the government should exist.
Yeah. Yep. And all of this created by the people that came before us that are now like millennials are killing Applebee's and don't want to buy houses. It's like
And it's like,
Applebee's sucks and the houses are like $3 million each.
and for Tom to be like, I had to make money. I make money and then at night after my son goes to sleep, I get on my computer and I talk about Tom Hanks's dick to my friend down the street.
Yeah. We find joy in life.
We
It's
find
this
joy talking about Tom Hanks's fat cock and balls, which I
that's the
have
real
more
meaning.
evidence for.
Okay. Well, really quick, I just want to put a button on all that, which is
Yeah.
that like and I think the part that hit home for everybody else in the audience that is of a certain age, like a different
Hmm.
generation, was Tom at the end is divorced. His ex-wife is sinking into senility,
Hmm.
and he has a line as they're sitting there in the empty house that's being sold, and he says like, "A lot of fond memories here, and I have no regrets." That part probably hit the hardest for those people in the room, which is this weird, fucked up idea that like it was really hard, but I wouldn't have done it any other way.
And it's like you should have.
You
Like there
should
was
have.
even a part where he seemed to have a regret over the fact that he kept them stagnant in this fucking house that Robin Wright hated,
Yes.
which I do want to get to that.
Okay.
Um, because that was a thing that bugged me. So they're in this house that Robin Wright hated, and she wanted to get out of the whole time they were there.
Which
But
makes
Tom,
sense,
yeah,
dude.
and Tom was there's a camera in the corner all the time. Uh, and Tom is always coming up with an excuse for why they can't stay there. He does some fucking LBJ slander, which I will not stand for.
In this home? No,
In this
thank
home,
you.
we stand Lyndon Baines Johnson and his gigantic penis that he called Jumbo.
That he called Jumbo. I was about to say, we
Yeah,
stand Jumbo.
we stand Jumbo in this house. I am teaching my son to stand Jumbo. Anyway, but he's always coming up with like some reason why they can't. And like later on in the movie, he's like, I was always worrying about something.
Yeah.
Um, I guess as a way to protect me from protect us from anything bad happening, which, as I have learned in therapy, is why we worry. That
Yeah.
is anxiety, and that is what it's supposed to do. I would call that a fucking regret. If you're like,
Yeah.
hey, I kept us from doing anything new because I was too fucking scared, which
Yeah.
I get. As someone who like is a generally pretty anxious person, and does not like change because of that, but
Yeah.
sorry, I'm gonna get off track a little bit, but has a wonderful, wonderful spouse who encourages me and makes me feel safe enough to do new things anyway.
Yep.
I am so much happier for it.
Yeah.
To give you an idea, legitimate jokes not in this room
Oh,
anymore.
the jokes haven't been here for a minute. Yeah.
Well, we talked about Jumbo. Jumbo's
We
a
did
joke.
talk about Jumbo. Jokes poked its head in and went, y'all gonna talk about
Y'all
Jumbo?
talk about Jumbo in here? I
Okay.
I would not be where I am now. But physically, I would not have moved out of my apartment. I and not in a. This is gonna sound shitty, but hang on. Would not have had a kid, not because I did not want a kid, but because I was too scared to have a
Sure.
kid. I probably would not have changed jobs. There's a lot of stuff that I would not have done.
Yeah.
If McKenna had not made me feel safe and had not consistently pushed me
Yeah.
in a really loving and helpful way. to do new things and try new things and grow.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, I would not be as happy as I am today as I would be if she had not either pushed me to do those things or if she had, God forbid, not been around.
Yeah. Which
Um,
here's the thing about this movie, to loop it back, which is that take all of that and
mhm,
then take your natural fear of risk and worry and
mhm.
turn it into a like moral position that this movie wants to
Yes,
lionize.
and imprison your family with it.
Yes, you suffered so that your kids could go be high-powered attorneys, but not you,
Yeah.
because you gave up on your dreams to create a better world for your kids, which is not reality.
Well, and then again, the other weird thing about this movie that really chaps my balls worse than icy hot, um, is that Robin Wright throughout the movie is like, I hate it here. I hate it here. I
Yes,
want to live somewhere else. Tom even designs another house.
which is a gorgeous moment in their
Yes,
relationship where he's like, I heard everything you said.
yes, it is
Here's
beautiful.
those, yeah, here's everything you wanted in this house.
And then it goes nowhere.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, when she has, uh, uh, like, has no memory, like at one point struggles to remember that she has a daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. Or that
Um,
she was married to him in this
yeah.
house or any of that. Yeah.
Um, and he tells her about a moment that we saw earlier in the movie, and she starts remembering things about that moment, and she, obviously becomes, pretty overwhelmed by it. And then she says, "I love it here." Fuck you, Bob Zemeckis.
Fuck you, Bob Zemeckis.
To
Yeah.
make it like seem like uh that this is like
That she
it
was
was
wrong, that it
that
was
she was
wrong of
wrong,
her.
or again that like you were saying, all that hardship was worth it
Yeah.
because she had a good memory about finding a ribbon in a couch.
Yeah, which who fucking cares? Like,
Her fucking marriage dissolved.
yeah, you can have good memories and then also make sure you're taking care of yourself and your family.
Yeah, she wasn't able to go do the career that she had always wanted to do.
Which here's my quick thing on a personal note.
Mm-hmm.
My mother's mother, my grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
had an associate's degree, became a nurse, worked her ass off in the 70s and 80s, and became a fucking high-powered hospital administrator
Mm-hmm.
after her divorce. And like was adamant that if you want something like that, you can get it. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have to work and pound on the glass ceiling and burst through. And like, and
Or
that's, just that was just her journey that happened to
yeah,
work out. But like, what the fuck, Tom? You couldn't like, or Robin, like,
yeah.
what are you doing?
Or okay, like my mom.
Yeah.
Um, went to school for psychology, got a bachelor's in psych, worked at a newspaper for a bit, and then was a stay-at-home mom.
Hmm.
And then once my sister and I got a little older, but not when we had like gone off to college, she became a children's illustrator. And then um fuck, there was another what did you oh shit, I should know this.
Yeah.
After she did the illustration.
Shame.
Yeah. Forget what she did after that. And then she went back to school
Back
and
to
got
school.
another bachelor's degree like after I had like moved on like after college.
Yeah.
Went back to school, got another bachelor's degree in interior design, and like
Is excellent at it.
is great. Like has gotten written up in like local magazines about it.
Yeah.
I like the house that they live in. Please don't murder my family. Um, was written up in this was a few years ago, but was written up in like a national magazine. And again, like my mom did all the design touches in that.
Yeah.
Um,
Changing your life course, because my mother did something similar, right? With like
mhm,
being a dental hygienist and going to become a botanist. We went to college together. It was an interesting experience.
mhm.
Um, like I fully believed in the moment where it's Robin's 50th birthday and she kind of
Yes.
has a meltdown that she was going to say, I sacrificed so much. For once, I'm going to focus on me and go back to school. That is
Yeah.
not what happened.
No.
And
It's
that fucking sucks.
it absolutely sucks because again, it is this like it's Bob Zemeckis just being like, that's your lot in life. And it's like,
Yeah,
hey, fuck, it doesn't have to be.
no,
My
you
mom
can
can
take
fucking
control.
design buildings now. Like
Yeah.
what? Like she knows how to use software to like make floor plans and shit.
Yeah.
She has done commercial work.
Yeah.
Like, and she did all of this, I think, after she turned 50.
Yes,
It's
which is
possible.
it's so possible. Like it's such a limited worldview, and I hate that this movie promotes it as
Yes.
like a virtue. So I have a lot of, turns out, anger
Hmm.
towards this movie, which is funny because it's the guy that did Back to the Future and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Like, but what is with that? Because like, is Tom gravitating towards boomer bait these days? And is Robert Zemeckis like, what
I don't
makes people want to do this?
I don't know about Tom. Just because Asteroid City was not boomer bait.
It was not. Now, A Man Called Otto was, but had the complete opposite message
Yes.
from this movie. It was, I need to adjust and enter the real world
Yes.
and not think so highly of my values, so much so that I hurt people around me.
Well, and can't let my losses ruin the rest of my life.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, which I think is why it was such a powerful movie
It was so good. That one was so good.
because it was this like rejection of that, like, well, this is it, my lot in
Hmm.
life is to be miserable.
Yeah. And
And
I
it's
have
like,
to suffer through this because my parents suffered through it. And
yeah. And, or, that like, I'm just going to be miserable. I can't be part of this world anymore. I hate everyone in it. I'll just die.
yeah.
Um, which is kind of what like Tom just seems to sort of make peace with the fact that he's just miserable
Yeah. And he has
and
no
alone.
regrets. Wouldn't do
Yeah,
anything different. Oh, wait, it's so bad.
it's so bad. But
Okay. Yeah.
do you want to invite jokes back in the room?
Yeah. Do you have anything funny to add to this now that
Oh,
I've sort of stood on my soapbox
oh
and
no, no, no,
shit
no.
myself?
I've got some stuff.
Okay.
So, okay, I think one thing we have not mentioned that is very important is that okay, the set for this movie, right?
Yeah.
Very simple, you would
Yeah.
think, because
Yeah.
it's one fucking room. And yet, folks, the back wall, as near as we can tell, the only full wall we can see is a green
This is
screen,
a green
as near
screen.
as we can tell. Which, what the absolute fuck?
So the only time that I can confirm this is true because it was visible is when Paul Bettany and wife are buying the
Yeah,
house. It is noticeable that it
it's
is a green
bad.
screen.
Like, I've seen TV shows with like shoestring budgets that have done green screening better.
I have a theory about this, and it's probably a good time to bring it up, which is that I think it's because they used AI to de-age them that it was easier if they used a green screen.
I, ooh, I
Which
bet you have something there.
which is funny.
Though,
Yeah.
here's the confusing thing.
Hmm.
Um, is that like they're always throwing Tom and Robin's de-aged faces right in the fucking camera.
Yeah.
And so they're actually not always backing up to the green screen. They're back like their backing is going to be the rest of the room, which is real.
Yeah, is real. And we know for a fact that the house is real, but possibly only when they don't need to be de-aged, because at the very end of the movie, we get that spin shot, right? Where we see
Right.
the rest of the house and we know, okay, this is a real house. That's the only time it looks authentic to me now that I'm kind of
Yeah.
thinking about it.
It's so weird. I don't
Yeah.
like and it's always doing these like weird things where it'll like kind of like have a cutout that's got like one of the different times in it.
Yeah.
And it's just always doing that, which like, I'm sorry, Bob. I'm actually not sorry. Does not suffice for bad filmmaking. Like that
Yeah.
doesn't actually make this interesting to watch.
I don't, okay, here's my question. If they had just moved the camera around,
Hmm.
it wouldn't have fixed the movie. Would it have improved it for you?
I think so.
Like if the same concept applies of like, here's all these different families that
Hmm.
have lived in this house here.
Yeah.
I think it would have been improved. It wouldn't have been
Yeah.
fixed, but
At a minimum, I would not have been constantly pulled out of what was happening
yeah.
by the irritation of the fucking gimmick.
Yes, it's a gimmick. It's yeah. I mean, literally,
Like,
it's like something you could pitch in an elevator, which sounds cool,
mhm.
does not a movie make. I can pitch lots of bullshit in an elevator,
Well, and I'm thinking of other movies that had some sort of
like
like
production gimmick.
yeah, and like the one that's coming to mind is 1917, where
Hmm.
it's all shot as though it is one shot,
Yeah.
like one continuous shot. But the difference is in that one, the gimmick actually adds something to the movie. In
Yeah.
this, it really does not add anything.
Yeah.
It feels very limited because
Hmm.
of it, because you only have one point of view. And at one point they do something that like I think had this been a better movie or had they utilized the shot better, it would have paid off more and been a
Hmm.
cooler thing, which was when um the guy in the last family, the 2020 family,
Move in the
it,
mirror.
it moves a mirror so that you can finally see what it looks
Yeah.
like behind your point of view,
Yeah.
which again could have been interesting if the movie had been interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
Um,
I actually really distinctly remember him moving that mirror into the frame and seeing the like kitchenette area behind
mhm,
them and being like, yeah, if this that exact thought, if this had been something I gave a shit about, that'd be pretty cool.
that'd be neat. But Bob,
Bob.
um, so the other thing that was weird is Christmas is really important in this movie,
Hmm.
and
Okay.
I found that annoying. A lot of this is Christmas focused.
Yeah, there's a
Um,
lot of Christmas. I mean, because there's only so many like if you want the whole family together, it's like funerals, weddings, Thanksgiving, and
mhm.
Christmas. That's kind of your options. Birthdays. We get a lot of birthdays. The more I'm thinking about it, it's pretty contrived, actually. It's like we need a shot where the whole family's here together. Fucking chuck a birthday into the mix.
Birthday, Thanksgiving, or Christmas.
Yeah.
That's all Bob's got. Um, Now, one thing that I was very happy to see
Yeah.
is the Bettany belly button,
Oh,
or
do we get
as
a
we
Bettany
like to,
belly button?
we get a Bettany button.
A Bettany button. Oh.
You see it. I believe he is talking to Tom either about when his friend got his jaw shot off in the war,
Yeah.
or when he was telling Tom about the time that he cheated on Tom's mom. Um,
Which we do nothing with in this movie.
Nothing with that. It just goes in one ear and out the other. He's like, yeah, I fucked another lady at a hotel. Anyway, um,
You want to put on Grand Ole Opry real quick? Let's get some yeehaw going.
yeah, exactly. Um, but no, you can see through his shirt, his undershirt,
Yeah.
the Bettany button.
The Bettany button. Is it a good belly button? I totally missed it.
Let me tell you, I don't want to get too crass on this show, but it's a fuckable belly.
I don't want to get too crass on the show, but you could have sex with this person's belly button.
Get some. I don't know that I can say it. I'd get some of that lint on my dick if you knew what I
And we're back to Hanksy
mean.
Panksy, folks.
Jokes are firmly back in the room.
Jokes are here on the beanbag in the corner and loving it.
Oh shit. Um, so let me think. Uh, Okay, another quibble with the movie
Yeah.
is that at one point they show like there's a radio broadcast when Pearl Harbor gets bombed.
Mm.
And then there's another moment when the Beatles, first like go on TV in the US.
Ned Sullivan Show. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it seemed like that was going to be a thing that happened. So I was waiting for the Kennedy assassination
Oh.
or like 9/11 or something. Like
Yeah.
you assume so that it like kind of anchors in time what's happening. Never happens.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is in another universe where
Is this
COVID still happens, but Kennedy never got shot and the
is this
towers never
is
fell.
this an AU where like yeah, exactly. Like Kennedy never beefed it. I love this idea that Robert was like, all right, boomer propaganda movie, Tom Hanks, Robin Wright, everything's groovy. What if this is an alternate reality where JFK never beefed it and is just president forever?
Yeah,
And everyone's
and
like, is
because
this gonna have any plot relevance?
and
None.
well, he's not president forever because Tom does slander
True.
LBJ. So we
He just
know that
slandered
at
LBJ
some
and
point
Jumbo.
LBJ does come into office. But I
Yeah.
guess what we're to take away from this is that if Kennedy never gets assassinated, 9/11 never happens.
Yeah. For sure. Those are logical,
Yeah,
logical
I
steps.
I think we all know that the reason 9/11 happened is that JFK was assassinated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but so we do get more proof that Tom Hanks has a big fat cock.
Yeah. Okay. Talk to me about this.
So they're finally Tom and Robin are finally in the house alone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And she's like, no, absolute silence. And he's like, okay. And then she propositions him.
Yeah.
And he undoes his belt, and then you hear zip. Because it's got to be real. He needs a real long zipper for his fat dick.
Yeah.
And then he whips it out, I assume. And Robin just like looks for a good long minute. Because it takes a minute to take all of it in,
Yeah.
both visually and physically. And and then she just gives it a very satisfied nod.
It's like the Sistine Chapel. It takes a minute,
Mm-hmm.
gotta really give it a good look, and then you're gonna be pretty satisfied
Mm-hmm.
by the end of that perusal, if you
Oh yeah.
will.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does have a big fat cock. I did let me see what I've got in my fucking notes here. Um, Bob Zemeckis would film someone struggle with constipation like it was Dr. Strangelove. Like with all the gravitas of Oppenheimer, but it's just someone who's like, I need fiber.
I was going to say, I'm not getting enough fiber. I have no regrets.
Um, the bit with Ben Franklin's bastard son is so weird.
Yeah.
Um, oh, the prosthetics on the indigenous people, like
Hmm.
when it's them older, are
Yeah.
terrible.
Yep.
They look so bad.
Yeah, I can't figure out why. I don't know, man. The de-aging and aging is like, I don't know. I don't know, dude. I'm over it. I'm
Yeah.
so over it. They asked
Oh,
ChatGPT to give them, can you generate an image for me of a de-aged Tom Hanks? And then they did that for every frame.
mm-hmm.
And they just used DALL-E.
Yeah. And at no point did they ask Dolly, like, DH Tom Hanks eating a hot dog.
No, which is what you do with
It's
ChatGPT.
it's cruise control for a good image. Okay.
It really, having received many a photo of
Mm-hmm.
X eating a hot dog, it's pretty true.
It almost always nets you a pretty solid image.
Yeah.
Helps if you also put illustrated. But
Yeah.
then I stopped once I learned that using any kind of AI is essentially burning down an entire rainforest for each like request.
It is chunky. Yeah.
So I did stop my hot dog requests, and so now I just have to do the AI of my brain, my imagination. Um, but Luke, I know we're running a little long on this, and that's fine. But do you Do you think you could stand in the corner and put some foil in the bay window? Because I need you to come with me to the conspiracy corner.
Yes, please. Give me just a second to sort of, tinfoil it up, but
Yeah,
I think I'm done. Yeah, go for it.
this is Atar's house.
That makes a shitload of sense. You don't even
Hmm.
need to say more. I want you to, but to be honest, yeah, okay. I'm sold.
It takes something of value from everyone who lives in it.
It really does. And they're trapped in this
They're
place.
trapped until the house extracts what it requires.
Yes.
For only one couple was that a good thing,
Yeah.
and that was the fun sex couple with the chair. Atar only wanted a comfortable place to sit in the 1920s. We need to investigate why that is.
I love this idea that Atar is like, I've got dastardly deeds on the docket today. God, am I tired though. I wish I had a great place to sit.
Wish I had a great place. Hey, that's a chair that reclines.
That's got a built-in ottoman and it reclines and you can swivel it.
Hot damn.
Hot diggity
I
damn.
won't kill one of these horny fuckers. They seem pretty legit. But no, and the other, to prove that it is Atar's house, it extracts the most from Tom Hanks.
It's
It
true.
steals both his parents. I think the house and Atar attempt to steal his brother by
Yeah.
having him enlist in the Navy during Nam.
During Nom. Yeah.
And then I don't know if you noticed this, it disappeared his sister.
Yeah, we don't do fucking anything
Nothing.
with her.
Nothing at all. It takes his wife's memories after it takes his marriage.
Yep.
It takes both his parents and functionally takes away his daughter.
Yeah.
The house obviously with the 2020 couple takes their housekeeper. Um, Needed to extract less COVID,
Yeah.
didn't want to catch COVID, so just took the housekeeper.
Yeah. This,
Um,
okay, more so than any other conspiracy corner
mhm.
ever, I need no provocation. I need no like persuasion to get into this bucket seat and ride in this ride with you.
Which I think is a damning statement about you and not a positive statement about my true fact theory.
Yeah. It is a true fact of true.
Hmm.
And yeah, I love it. I adore it.
Well, I know you didn't take any notes because you didn't bring a notebook with you to the movie theater like a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Everyone cool brings a notebook to the
I
theater.
think it's more okay, I just want to mention really quick the optics of this, which is that two just generic dudes
Two white dudes with beards.
with beards walking into a matinee showing of a brand new Tom Hanks movie. One of them has a notebook and then a sea of old people. And I just wonder what the fuck people think about us. It's never occurred to me to think about that before until this one for some reason.
You know, I think at some point the people at this theater are going to start recognizing me and they're
Hmm.
going to be like, this guy only comes to the theater for a Tom Hanks movie, a Dwayne Johnson movie, a Keanu Reeves movie, or also Oppenheimer and Barbie.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to go to anything else.
No. If we want him to show up, we got to dangle one of those people or make a meme out of a movie to the
and,
point that it's inescapable.
and he always has a notebook. What is he writing? How is he writing in there?
Yeah.
The the answer is not well.
Yeah,
So
what them notes look like?
pretty scattered.
Oh
Uh
yeah.
until at times when I wrote over sentences that I wrote.
That looks like the notebook in a ship that's being haunted. That's like
Yeah,
pretty late in the haunting.
yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, that's like way after he's written like weird shits have beginning to happen, and then several days later, it's like the hot dogs are after us.
It's pretty solid because like I remember I was like, I don't know how far down on the page I went, so I'll just start writing to the side. And so you get You get gems like this bottom half of the page here where I write the Bettany belly button, fuck you, Bob, and I hate DH Tom.
Yeah,
So that's just the whole half of this page is dedicated to
exactly.
only those three.
I
And then I was
love
like, you
that.
know what? I think I used up all the space on this page.
Mhm.
So, I think we should probably mention that we're going to have to go to the theater a lot more.
Yeah, this month's looking pretty brutal.
The next 2 months,
Yeah, I'm not
because
looking
it's,
forward to it.
yeah, it's Moana and Sonic 3 and Red 1.
Red One, that's the name. We were trying to remember the name of that movie earlier.
Yeah.
It's great, great titleage because it floats in my ears and immediately falls out. Because, dude, it's exactly like Red Notice,
Mm,
which is a different Dwayne the Rock Johnson movie.
it's,
So,
I'm pretty sure it's if Red Notice and Rogue One had a baby.
yeah.
But I think next time, if it's not time for Moana 2, we're watching some fucking princess. We mentioned it last time.
Yeah,
You still know.
I think it will be The Little
It
Mermaid
is The Little
2.
Mermaid 2, which doing The Little Mermaid 2 and then Moana 2 back to back is going to be an
And then
experience.
Sonic 3,
And then
probably.
Sonic 3 and then Red 1 and then just our chittering skulls screaming.
And then we're done. Then we evaporate. We turn to
Yeah,
dust at the end
that's
of
it.
that.
Happy fucking New Year. We're dead. Well, folks, Luke, unless you've got some parting thoughts.
I don't. I've expunged all of the thoughts that I had.
Yeah. Well, folks, thanks for listening to another episode of Hanksy Panksy. You can find us on Facebook at Hanksy Panksy Podcast, and you can find us on Instagram at Hanksy Panksy Pod. You can send us an email at hanksypanksypod@gmail.com. We're on Blue Sky. You can join our Patreon. Look at our Patreon, patreon.com/Hanksy Panksy. You chuck us enough money, and you can be one of Hanks's heroes like Tuck and Daniel. Fellas, I just want you to know I really appreciate your vote for the winner of the 2024 presidential election.
Got it. Got
Yeah,
it in
okay,
post.
yeah. And we'll just reuse the one from earlier. I
Exactly.
think,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Ken Griffey Jr. Um, yeah, and again, check out Tuck's podcast, the Daily Dice podcast.
Yeah.
It's they're super short episodes. You should check them out. Luke, do you have a final quote?
Dude, you're gonna love this one. Because it's got a rise out of you in the theater, which is that's a deep hole.
Yeah, so I need to contextualize it. They're showing the house being built,
Yeah.
and these guys are digging out like where the foundation's gonna go, I guess. Maybe it's a basement. We never see that part of the house again. And the hole is maybe hip height,
It's like possibly 3 feet deep.
possibly. And this girl walks up and she goes, "That's a deep hole, mister." And it pissed me off so much because I went, "No, it's not."
You audibly said as if you couldn't control it. No, it's not.
Luke, I couldn't control it because it verifiable. Like we're all looking at it. It's not that deep. Like ostensibly wells exist in this town. Those are deep holes.
Yeah.
This is the height of an 1800s adult man's hip. They
Yeah.
weren't that tall back then.
Nope.
This wasn't
Yeah.
fucking Yao Ming standing in a hole. I need to get a more updated reference for a tall person than Yao Ming, I think.
Yeah. Also, just like, I guess what the conclusion we've arrived at is that this little girl is a fucking idiot.
She's a rube.
She's a real rube, man.
Fucking yokel. Anyway, thanks for listening to another episode of Hanksy Panksy. We'll catch you next time with The Little Mermaid 2.